here to celebrate 1 year of Arlowe. I just want to say, like, it's been such a pleasure to be a part of this journey so far, and for letting me be on the bus, the Arlowe bus.
Part of this journey.
You're driving the bus.
No,
Wow.
no.
Driving the bus.
Bianca's driving the bus. I'm in the back, like, just making a bunch of jokes. You know?
Yeah.
I'm like the one throwing stuff in front. I'm just like, no, but thank you guys for having me be part of the bus, the team being a part of the bus. Because honestly, it's like so it's, you know, I'm a business owner myself, but it's so inspiring to see people our age, like, really taking the leap, man. Like, cause this shit is scary, dude. Like, and so I really want to, you know, dive deep into reflections of your last year, your guys' career kind of leading up to that moment, but like also just kind of seeing like where you guys see this thing going in the future. So I think first and foremost, first question for Hazel, like, where were you at, like, let's say January 2024, when you were like,
Oh man, you're going way back.
right on the cusp of starting this
Yeah.
this journey? Like, where was your mindset at?
I think my mindset, honestly, at that time, I kind of knew before that time that I just felt like I wasn't aligning anymore where I was at, both personally, business-wise, and it just wasn't, not that it wasn't fun to do my job, but it was just kind of this weight on top of my shoulders kind of thing where I just didn't feel like myself. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe, but I just knew like that's not what I wanted to continue doing, and I needed to change things up for myself. You know, at the time my daughter was really young. I'm like, you know, I don't want her seeing, you know, me come home and not be, you know, genuinely happy, or, you know, coming in venting all the time to, you know, my husband about just what I was feeling in those moments. So I kind of already had known that this was
The move.
Yeah, the move, that we needed to do something, shake things up. And it just was really great. You know, I had obviously known Felicia, and I think we kind of aligned in that way where we both felt like just we wanted something different. And so it was easy to, from there, well, not easy, but, you know, just kind of everything fell into place. And here we are a year later. And yeah.
Felicia, what about you? Where was your mindset at?
Oh, in a very similar place for sure. I think, you know, my previous broker had told me years ago, one day you're going to leave and start your own brokerage.
Oh, yeah.
I told him he was crazy. I was like, there's no way. Why would I want to do that? I see like how much work goes into it. And honestly, the return isn't like as huge as people think it is either. So I was very much, when he said that, like, you're just nuts.
You're
like,
nuts.
yeah, right, dude. Like, I'm just going to keep doing my little agent thing and, you know, helping clients and focus on that. But it did get to a point, kind of like Hazel said, where like I was craving something more, craving something bigger, craving a little bit more like responsibility, which is interesting to get to a point where you're working so hard and you're tired from like the transactions and stuff and working with clients, and that stuff can be challenging in and of itself. But then to get to a point where you feel like you're ready for even more of a challenge. And so I was like, you know, he was right. Yeah, and it's time for me to go off and do my own thing. And luckily Hazel and I like aligned so well with what we wanted, what we were looking for. And we recently kind of had a conversation about like having a business mind and how that's very different from being a realtor, being a real estate agent. Like we're all running our own businesses, but do you actually have that drive in your mind to run a business like a business?
Yeah, totally. And I think what's crazy too is, I mean, now that we know 2024 was one of the worst years in real estate, like literally in decades. And here we are like,
We
Wait, it
survived.
was? I feel like we had a great year.
It's like, what are you guys talking about?
the majority of the agents out there, it was
Yeah.
tough, right? I mean, it
Yeah.
literally, I think, was the worst year since I think like the 90s or something like that. Something crazy. It'd been a long time before you'd seen a year like 2024 So here Felicia and I are like, okay,
Yeah,
we're
what
gonna start
a
our
great
own
time to
business.
start a new company with there.
But honestly, they always say like, you know, those the best businesses, or, you know, businesses in general that just have this like long lasting legacy, a lot of times they're born in times of, you know, just stress. And I think that's really kind of us. You know, it wasn't the most ideal year for most agents in real estate. We did well, and, you know, Arlowe as a whole did really well. But for a lot of agents, you know, they struggled. A lot of them left the business. And so to just take this huge endeavor on in that year, honestly, and half still the year that we had, like, I'm super proud of us. Like, we could have easily flopped
I was with you guys the whole way, right?
You were.
And
You knew before the world knew.
I didn't even no, I just even mean like I don't even remember hearing that the industry was
Struggling so
Really?
much.
We
Yeah.
did a good job. Yeah.
Because we're both pretty positive
Yeah.
people, and so I think we don't dwell too hard on
Yeah.
it. But it's
No.
also one of the beautiful things about this industry is how much you can decide for your own self the way that you're going to run your business,
That's real.
right? As a realtor. And so if you got your head down and you're focused and there's a lot of people who are
Yeah.
still transacting, but there's also a lot of people who are struggling.
Yeah.
And so I think we've had that in our minds of how can we create a space where when agents join us, they feel supported, they feel like they can succeed, or that they're moving in the right direction, they're doing the things that they need to do. And so I think we've kind of worn that hat a lot this year of like knowing what the responsibility is, and how we're going to be able to guide them through that to find that success in a market that isn't the most
yeah.
Ideal.
ideal. Yeah.
I mean that like obviously when you guys are agents, you guys are business owners in your own right. Like you're running a business, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the accounting, you're doing all this other shit. But like but it's very much like insular. It's very much like a soul endeavor, you know. And when you talk about like starting a business and having a business mind, and it feels like that's like a separate responsibility now, right? The part of that responsibility I feel like is to be a leader, and part of that leadership role is like kind of shielding everybody from that stress that like is it theirs to bear? Like is that part of something you guys have talked about together as being like an important leadership value for yourself?
Like shielding them from the business side of
From like the like just like putting them in a position to where it's like, hey, just do your thing as best as possible.
Yeah, I think we do a really good job about that. I mean, like Belle just touched on it, being positive. I think mindset is everything in this business. Like if you don't have the right mindset, this business can eat you alive, kind
Yeah.
of thing. But I think I never find really on most days like our agents in that kind of fear mindset, like, oh my gosh, like everyone's struggling, there's no inventory, interest rates are now 6, 7, 8%, whatever they are. And I think that has a lot to do with our leadership, and not to like, yay us, but I always remember the quote from Remember the Titans, when in that scene, I don't know, they were all kind of at odds, and one of the players says attitude reflects leadership. And I do think that kind of says a lot about Fel and I, is like our agents really aren't in that kind of fear mindset. They might have a moment of, man, I'm a little nervous, or, not too sure how maybe this listing's going to perform or whatever else. But I think for the most part, they see in us that, yeah, I can do this. Like no matter the conditions in the market, it could be a great market, it could be a terrible market, whatever. It's really what I'm choosing to do with my business every single day, and like what I have in my control. And yeah, so
That's kind of why you get into entrepreneurship anyway, right?
Right,
Is to have like
yeah.
some semblance of control over your fate, right?
Right. And it's also, I mean, I think it speaks to the types of agents that we've also attracted.
true.
Right. I think it's true. I mean, you look at any realtor in this business, typically you're attracting similar clients over and over again. There's something about
Like a thread.
like I really do love my clients. Like I feel like they're like friends, like they will have similar vibes, similar personalities. We click. And that's the reason why they hired me, right? I feel like it's the same with agents. It's like they joined us because they have at least somewhat similar mindsets, and they vibe with us, right? And it just makes it a better fit. And I think to have that sort of ability to attract people as us being the leaders is really one of the biggest benefits that we've found, is like now we're completely surrounded by people that have similar mindsets and are working really hard and are just sweet, amazing, kind, thoughtful people.
And a really big compliment too. Like I'll be honest, like we never thought we were going to grow this fast, right? I think we
That
have
was
not
not
to
the
plan
plan.
videos out
Yeah.
from last year saying,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's going to take us a year, we're
Yeah.
not going to grow right away. And to be truthfully honest, every single person who's come to Arlowe, we have not recruited. Everyone has come organically on their own for their own reasons. But I think that was also just really, it felt really good that people looked at you in that way in this industry where, not everyone is looked at in that way in this industry. It can be very cutthroat. It's a lot of ego involved in it, that kind of thing. And just to have people who said, no, like, I want to be where you're at.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that says so much about the reputation and the brand you guys have both built before starting this endeavor. Is that like you think that you weren't recruiting, but I think even just your actions and the way you ran your individual businesses like was recruiting in its own
Right.
way, like
Yeah.
recruiting the
In an
clients
organic way.
in an organic way. Like we didn't
Being us.
we didn't do a campaign around agents or anything like that. But I think even just you guys being you, I think people don't understand that about brand is like, how do you guys just get to the core, the authentic version of yourselves? And I mean, working with Hazel all these years, I mean, I've seen you kind of like niche down into who Hazel is and then building a brand around it. And then when I met Felicia, I was like, okay, so she's been doing this thing the whole time too. So I feel like it's almost like you guys were radiating out that energy even without being intentional about it. So when it became more intentional, like everybody flocked to you anyway. You know what I mean? Like whether you wanted it to or not. Because I mean, it shows in the agents you guys pick. Because my question there was going to be, was there an intentional? Did you guys like set out for together to have like a specific like culture or like type of agent that you guys are looking for? We're not talking about like demographics or anything, but just like their value system.
We
Like
literally have a list written
Yeah,
down
okay.
of all of the sort of
Qualities.
qualities that we would
Yeah.
look for in a person to determine whether or not it's a good fit. And we're happy to like provide that to people, like just to send it out and be like, hey,
Open book.
this is like what we're
this is what's important to us.
yeah, and just so that they know too that there's clarity of what this is all about, right? Like you need to have a collaborative mindset, otherwise it's not really going to gel well with the way that the rest of us work.
But even between you guys, was that important to? How important was that to clarify as a business partnership that you guys were on the same page?
It's super important for us so that when we do meet somebody, we don't get distracted or overexcited, or so that there's something written down that we can also refer back to of like, hey, we went over this, right? These are the things that we're looking for. If this person doesn't match it, maybe it's not a good fit for us. And I think that's a really important part of becoming a leader, is knowing when to say no or to turn away or to go in a different direction. And having that conversation when we wrote down that list, I think was really helpful of like, what are the things that both of us are looking for and what's important to you, what's important to me. And that's the going back to your part about branding. I think it was one of the big things where when we were talking about what Arlowe is, it was like, let's take the things that are important to you. Let's take the things that are important to me, blend them. Like, it's like a marriage, you know, or
really
it's like,
is.
how do
It
we
is for sure a marriage. I always say
let's
like,
take the best parts
Yeah.
and then let's like leave out the bad ones. Yeah.
Well, and I'll be honest too, like when we were kind of starting this, even before we knew Arlo was going to ever be a thing, like we interviewed kind of each other. I remember distinctly, like she sent me like text messages of questions she wanted to know, and they were like across the board from
Oh, what?
like
I
family,
forgot about
relationships, political. Like we need to know, like, are we going to vibe? Like, are we just
Yeah.
going to clash on a lot of things?
That's
And-
real.
Yeah,
And
I had a
really-
list of
she
questions.
did, and
and I was
I
like,
was
I'm
like-
not going to judge you on your answers.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
need
I just
to
need
know.
to know.
If I'm going into business with somebody, I'm sorry, I need to know where you stand
Yeah.
politically. Or
Under-
are you
just
just
in general?
like, yeah, I'm like, are you religious? Right? Like that's.
Do you kick
I don't
cats?
care one way or the
You know?
other. I just want to know so that I know you, like as a
Yeah.
person, and
Because
yeah.
I think where I see a lot of like partnerships fail is I think they're just like too surfacey. Like they think, oh yeah, cool, we're gonna vibe, everything's gonna be great, but I don't know that they actually spent enough time like talking about the things you really don't want to talk about, things that could be uncomfortable, things that are controversial even. And I really loved and appreciated that she sent that, because those are the same things I wanted to know, and she
Oh, yeah.
answered her response as well. And I feel like it just kind of put everything out there, like, hey, yeah, this is who I am as a person. Take it, leave it. This could either work or it might not. And honestly, I think we're very similar in a lot of ways, in most ways, really. And also have, our differences, but I think that's also what makes this partnership really beautiful.
Yeah, those differences will make it like.
Yeah. So it just like worked. It felt right. And we both were kind of keeping options open. She was considering other places, other avenues. Like I was making sure I kind of looked at everything before we decided, because the last thing we wanted was to bring people into this that maybe we weren't the best business partners like together, and maybe that was going to reflect poorly on the agents that would come or the clients that we would serve. So we needed to make sure like we were good and square before we even
Let me just
thought
say,
about 10 steps forward.
I wish people that are about to get like for real married had that conversation.
yeah, I keep
Yeah,
relating
like-
this back to marriage and like.
Because it really is, because it's like the most, because it's not even like, oh, do you like basketball, or like, do you want to go for walks on the beach and shit? It's like, no, dude, like, how do you feel about the most like fundamental and values? You know what I mean? But
And those are things we don't tend to think about a lot when it comes
not
to
in business,
right? Because we're like,
yes.
you know the business, you know the
No.
industry, you know the contracts, you know, like, yes, the knowledge is there, but are other things that are important there?
Right.
My better half, my better business half. Shout out to Quinn. I mean, we talk about this all the time. It's like it's the only way that the business partnership is going to be sustainable. So we're almost at 10 years later this year, or like next.
We should be coming
next
to you
year.
guys for some tips.
No. Oh my God, no. You guys are way ahead. But like, or yeah, I think 9 years is this year. But we're full time. Like, but the whole only reason is because like we prioritize our humanity first. You know, we've prioritized like a lot of those questions that you asked, Felicia, of like, you know, we won't get into it in this pod.
Yeah, but just like the
But where do
nitty
you
gritty.
stand?
But like,
Yeah, oh no, like a lot of different
you know where I stand, everybody.
You know, and like you said, I mean, and that's not to say like whoever doesn't have the same views
No.
as us can't come to Arlowe.
But it's like,
That's
where's your
certainly-
heart at?
Right.
Yeah, and it
Where's
was
your
just
heart at?
Kind of on a more raw,
More
like,
raw.
like I don't know, feral level. Like I really did appreciate. Like she forced me to really think. Well, yeah, what do I think about that, or how would I react to this situation, or do I want someone that has these
Yeah.
ways? Like, you know, it just
Because even if
yeah.
without the socio-political stuff, it's like, how do you treat friendship? Like,
Yeah.
how important is friendship to you? Like, how important is family to you, even? Or, you know, like, how do you like to communicate? And not like, oh, do you text? But like, hey, if we're gonna have conflict, how conflict averse are you?
Yeah, because
know?
in business too, like there's a lot that I think a lot of people see this like nice glossed over, like kind of prettied up, you know, packaged well thing, but there is a lot like, I mean, financial, there's
Oh, yeah.
emotional, you're dealing with multiple people involved in our company, our agents that have their own things that
Values.
they're
Yep.
coming into you with, and that, you know, we're very thankful that they feel safe enough to open up to us when they need to and that sort of thing. But you're dealing with a lot like that people don't see, a lot of things that could cause issue, that could really tear businesses apart. And so I really love that we kind of really knew who we were as people, and like told each other kind of as clear as we could tell each other,
Yeah.
like, this is who I am. And we still, you know, thought that this would be a great partnership. And so when those moments do come, like, I don't even ever think like, oh, how's Fel going to handle this? Like, oh my God, like, you know,
No.
or how is,
Yeah.
you know, so-and-so going to take this? You know, I just know like she's got my back. Like
It's almost like even,
trust.
it's like not even about specifically what your answer to the question is. It's also like, how do you answer it, right? Like,
Real.
are you even
Real.
able to be super honest and authentic and real and communicate your point of view? And even if it differs from my own, like, how do we navigate that conversation together? Because we're going to come up against that and with business decisions. And yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to like feel like you said, I'm never worried about what you're gonna say. Or I think one of the most important things, and this goes back to like the marriage comment of like, then the conflict resolution that you said, is like, she always handles things in a respectful manner. I know that even if she was mad, she would be kind and respectful. And to me, that's more important. She's never been mad at me, by the way. But it's when she does get there, because at some point I'm sure we will cross that
Oh
path.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I know for a fact that she will still treat me with kindness and respect, because that's who she is as a person. And that's like also what you should be looking for in a partner when you get married or a business partner.
and then the agents too, like,
Yes.
who are like, I
Yes.
don't want to say like our children, but you know, like they're representations of our brand. And so same thing goes for them, right? If there's ever issues, or like, we know at the end of the day, it's going to be respectfully spoken about. Like, we are going to handle this like professionals, and it's not going to be this screaming match where I witnessed really unfortunate situations in other companies. Like, and that's the thing, is like, we are very intentional about who we bring on as well, because we don't want to, you know, have this toxic work culture. I think there's enough of that in our industry, especially.
Yeah.
And we just want a place where people feel like safe, that they, you know, can be themselves, whatever that is, and that they are going to be respected in whoever they are, you know, as business people, or even as just people in general. And I think it's really hard to find in our profession specifically, really.
I like to think that this is a kind of a thread through a lot of the business owners of our generation that I'm like running into a lot, is that we really are prioritizing the relationships over kind of like your output as a professional. Because I think a lot of previous generations like were like, well, that's a top producer, like they can do whatever they
Don't touch
want,
him.
leave him
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
Like, But to me, it's like I've been in situations where I've seen those top producers be like held with kid gloves, and then it made me feel like, well, is that what I'm really striving for too? And I was like, that's not how I want to be as like a human person either. So I'm glad that you guys are kind of prioritizing the relationship, and you can see it in the business, you can see it in the brand. But I also feel like that's what's going to make it the most sustainable too, because it sounds like even if somebody is going to be out here selling like $1 billion of real estate, which that'd be sick.
Maybe one day I'll get.
But it's like, man, if you're like a dick,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
there's like another
Yeah, I don't
brokerage for
care
you.
how much you sell if you're a jerk. Like
100%. And I think actually that's what I really love too about us is like, you have people who get into this and decide to maybe go off and do their thing, and they only want top talent. They only want a top producer. They only want like someone that's going to make them whatever money. We don't look at it like that. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how much you sell or how much you don't sell. Like, it's really about like who you are as a person too. And like, do we see this like working? Do we see the potential in you? Because that's also the other thing too, is like, we really want to be there as like a resource for our agents to come to like, bounce ideas off of, to, sharpen your tools and whatever we might be able to help with. And so I really love that we have this like mixture of, agents that do a lot of business and agents that are still getting their footing and learning. And I love both of those agents.
and it's good for both of them too, to be surrounded by people who are different from them, and their businesses are so different, and they're even in different locations, right? Like, I think there's a lot that we can learn from people who are different from us. And I think that our agents get to experience that within Arlowe.
What have you guys learned about each other over the last year? Because like you guys, you guys, I'm sure you guys are still pals, but like this, like we've talked about, like this kind of uncovers like more truths about about your business partner that you wouldn't have seen if you guys were just like at the bar getting drinks or whatever, or like seeing each other at a conference or whatever. Like, what have you learned the most about each other over this last year being business partners specifically? So you can go first.
Something that I've learned about Hazel that surprised me, she's pretty bad with technology.
That's nuts.
No, she says it all the time.
I openly admit that.
And you know why this works so well and why I love that, and I was so happy to find that out, was because then I get to have a little bit more control over it, which I'm crazy about. So I would rather be the person who deals with it.
Okay.
And that's a good thing,
And
right?
I happily defer to Fel on like all technology. I'm like, don't come to me. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, go to Fel. Like, I will own that. And it's true. Yeah, it's not my strong suit.
Y'all thought I was going to say something nice, huh? Y'all really thought I was going to say something nice. No, we're going to keep it real over here.
Just kidding.
It surprised me because, like you said, like I feel like our generation relies on it so much.
Yeah.
So that's why it surprised me, but it works. You can say something bad about
No,
me,
it's
too.
so funny because I literally was going to say what I really love is she's so good with systems. And I knew that she was good. I didn't know how good. Like, Josh, I wish I could just kind of insert you like into our meetings sometimes. Like, she has like, there's this thing called Notion. Like, I didn't even know about it. And it's like literally this big brain that you can put anything and everything into. We house all of our Arlo stuff in it. And I just didn't realize you were as resourceful as you really are. Like, I knew it, but I didn't really know until we started actually like, getting into it. And I really love that about her because, like she just said, technology is not my friend. It really isn't. Like, I knew very basics. And I think I did like okay with that. But I think what she has like opened up to Arlo and effectively like to our agents really has changed like our organization and how we are like organized as an organization. And I really love that because I would have never known half of what I know. I don't even know it now, but like I'm learning it.
And it's almost not what all of our agents have said when we meet with them for the first time and they're thinking of coming over to Arlo. They asked about the technology because it's so important to them. I think agents these days are going to start prioritizing that more and more. So it's good that we have a lot of different platforms and technology and things that we can help help the agents learn how to use and navigate and to better their businesses.
And I think that's what sets us apart because not a lot of places, at least that I know of, touch half of what you touch. And it's not even that like it's a requirement for agents to use any of it, but it's just there if
you need it.
Yeah, and if it could help your business, why not? And
You know what she is good at though?
Yeah.
Responding hella quick.
Sometimes I don't think
I'm like,
so.
dang, we're on a group chat, and I'm over here writing my message, and then she's like, boop, boop, boop. She already responded to everything,
She's on
and then
it,
I'm
dude.
like, I
We
feel like
sound
I'm
like
not
going
doing anything over
No,
here.
no.
With email, she's so fast.
But sometimes I think that is to my detriment. I'm working on it. Like sometimes, like I probably should have reread that and like worded it.
That's why I'm slow, because I my emails are like paragraphs,
Or, like,
and I
we
read
didn't
it
get-
over and over again to make sure it's perfect. Whereas she's like very responsive.
Just spits it out.
And it's helpful, I think, for the agents. That's
Yeah.
one thing that they really want, right? Is a fast response. So
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Yeah, one of them texted me like at 8 last night, and she's like, "I know you're probably not gonna read this till the morning." I responded in like 5 minutes
Before they finish texting, before the
I
bubbles.
was like, "I
done.
got you," but yeah, I think like
Yeah.
like to what Fel said is it's important because I feel like, at least for me personally, I can speak like I didn't ever feel like I really had that either where I came from. So it just it's nice to just be that for our agents because I think in some situations time is
Yeah.
very sensitive. Yeah.
What have you learned about yourself in the last year as a brokerage owner that you didn't know about yourself as an agent?
I think obviously there's so much to learn in what we're doing, not even just as an agent, but as a business owner. And I think I didn't realize how much really is involved. And so I wish like maybe, going back, I would have maybe read up more on like, I don't know, like corporations, like how does that get
Oh,
formed?
okay.
Like what happens like when that's formed tax wise, right? Like all these things like you don't really think about until like you're in it and then you're like, okay, yeah, I do need to start thinking about that. Or like virtual assistants, like how do all these like little pieces kind of fit together into making this business outside of what, we are doing and the public is seeing. So I think I've learned that about myself, that I'm starting to kind of take more initiative and try to learn more about that stuff just to make sure that I'm square as much as I can be, and hopefully that translates well into the business. And yeah, I don't know.
And that I feel like is going to be something we're continuously working on.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we don't have any of that all, perfectly set yet. It's always going to be something that's growing and changing. And so, yeah, the financial aspect is interesting to think about all the things that we've learned about, like the finances behind everything. We talk about that a lot in our check-ins. Another thing that I kind of learned about myself that I was literally just thinking about in the shower this morning was that I did not think that I would ever be able to equally care about something else the way that I care about my clients and my transactions.
Oh, wow.
Like, I feel like since I got into the industry, that has been my main thing. Like,
Yeah, that's huge.
I share about my clients and I'm always thinking about them. And I didn't know that I could equally care about something else. And so having Arlowe has given me the opportunity to care about not only mine, but your business, Amber's business, Christina's business, Sarah's business, everybody's business, right? Like every agent that we have, I'm like, oh, I do truly care about them succeeding and them having a good experience. And then impacting their clients, right? And so we have almost a bigger reach with even more people that we can help get through that process.
Well, I think that's what also is like where like someone like Felicia and myself, like this is what you should be doing, right? Because not everyone looks at it from that lens. I've known a lot of people where they look at it from the lens of what are you doing for me versus what can I do for you? And I think that's really the mindset we have probably almost all the time. Is it's not really about us. It is, right? Because obviously we want to make sure this business prospers and that sort of thing and do whatever we got to do to make sure that happens. But it's really almost always, what are we doing for them? Like, how can we make this even better for them? And like she said, and effectively for their clients. So I think that's where we know like we're in the right place. And I wish more people had that mindset.
Dude, I'm just like, I feel like we're very much in the kindred spirits because like, I think when we first started getting like team members and employees, I didn't realize how much like that would become like my driving force is to like for example, like with Trey and like one of our team members, like he's doing really well right now, like through my business, which I'm like so stoked on. But it's like now I think of the impact of like not just of his like professional life, but like kind of what you mentioned. It's like, okay, well now he gets a job where his kids see that like they can really pursue not like a banking job or some bullshit, like Erin, she's so young, and just like her having her like job and like being able to like set these like boundaries and like set like and having a boss that like cares about that stuff. Like what does she learn from that as she becomes like a HBIC, you know what I mean? At
Yeah.
some point, I think it's like just as important to me now as like what's the bottom line. And I didn't think that was going to be the case maybe 6 years ago, but now it's like that's like just as important.
Yeah.
And it's so weird, but it's sick because
That's
it's like
where the heart of the company is,
Yeah.
right? Is like
that's where the impact actually is.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen Quinn become a parent.
Yeah.
and
2 times over.
Twice.
twice
Yeah.
over now. So
Yeah,
like that's
that's-
that's so cool to like also witness them going through their own like life essentially.
Oh my gosh.
And you're linked together in this way.
He knows like I'm going hard for like them too,
Right.
which is like weird because it's like that's like my nephew and my niece like by
Yeah.
transitive property, but I'm also going hard because it's like, okay, whatever lifestyle we've created for his family, whatever I can do to make sure that that keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so weird to say about someone that's not quote unquote family, but like,
Yeah.
because that's when it gets like word gets toxic, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like a weird feeling to,
Yeah.
like you said, Phil, like to care about someone else's business or like professional life as much as you care about your own.
Yeah.
And it's like equal, and then they become like the symbiotic thing. It's like really beautiful. It's like
It's surprising.
it's like weirdly spiritual, right?
Yeah.
It's like we're in therapy right now.
Seriously, right?
But
I love it.
yeah.
And I think, I don't know about you, but I feel like it's so cool. Like when I drive by, like we drove into this property today, and you see like that sign, and literally I still think, I'm like, damn, like
That's yours, you know?
That's what I think when I see it.
That's us. And like, you know, I see our agents wearing
There's a
their little
vibe.
hats, or
Yeah.
you know, their little water bottles, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this isn't just like a little side gig, like cool, let's make our own little company. This is a legitimate business
For real.
that literally just it's just so cool. It was really so cool, and it never gets old seeing that, you know, wherever.
I love that that's what doesn't get old, and like your first thought wasn't like, oh yeah, when that commission comes in.
No.
Because that stuff is so fleeting.
Yeah.
Like if I think you guys talked about it earlier, like we could be the highest producing people, but if we were miserable coming into this partnership or into this workplace, like
It's not worth it.
dude,
Yeah.
we go do this somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, you know,
Life's too
I mean, the
short.
ultimate goal is to be happy, right? And I think that's something to your point earlier about, you know, supporting everybody's business and where they want to be. I think that's something we've been really intentional about. We've talked about that a lot about, you know, when we're having conversations with our agents, when we're doing our deeper check-ins with them, asking like, not where do we see your business going, but like, where do you want to be, right? Like, is that, oh, you have a lot of personal stuff going on right now that you need to handle at home? Cool, take a step out.
Yeah,
like, you do not need to
Speaking
keep,
to us.
you do not need to prioritize transactions right now when you have that going on at home. Focus on that, and the transactions will come, and we'll be here for you one way or another. And if you do want to, you want to 10x your business next year, cool, we're there for that as well.
Yeah.
And we'll be your cheerleaders. But respecting people and with what they want to do with their own business and giving them the opportunity and voice to say that, right? Like, oh, maybe they don't want to be a top producer, right? They're happy with just doing this X amount of transactions per year, and that's what their goal is, and that's what they need to hit.
and that's what success looks like, and that's actually successful
Right,
still.
yeah,
right.
You can define it however much way you want to.
Yeah. This last year has been just a lot, but in like the best way. Like to honestly, like I've grown so much as not even just like an agent, but just as a person.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just like can't really describe, like if we were to look back on like stuff we filmed last year, like I'd be like, man, that person's so different than who's sitting here with you right now. Like just so much life experience, so much just things that have just happened that have now just changed my perspective on things and my outlook on things, and you know.
And like, what is time? It's like, I can't even believe how fast this went by. I know we all say that.
It's nutty.
After COVID, honestly, time just like blurred. Like, I just feel like every year is just going by so fast. We're going to be like sitting here, not in this house, but in some other property. And we're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 years.
Yes.
Wow.
It's gonna go by like that.
Yeah.
And we're
Trying to
gonna
savor it and like pay attention and be intentional and thoughtful. And yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's actually a good kind of little segue into like where we see Arlowe, right? Like
Yeah.
going. And like I really do see this like hopefully standing the test of time. Like I always like picture like if I'm not here, you know, knock on wood, God forbid everything, you know, nothing happens. But like I would love this to still be something that somebody else maybe has taken over, whether it's like, I don't know, kids or other business people that we know and trust, or I just want this to continue standing even when Phil and I are not here.
I mean, we will die at some point.
I mean, unfortunately, they haven't figured that one out yet.
Yeah.
And
On
so-
episode 2. Yes.
But I hope
What
it
happens
lives
after we
on.
die?
I hope it lives on beyond us.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Like, that's where I see this, and I don't know.
I also think our eyes have been opened a lot to like the joys, the stresses as well of like growing and
Yeah.
having more responsibilities with more agents. But I think now we've come to a place where we're like, okay, maybe we do want agents, and maybe we are okay with like
I know.
going out and finding agents, and maybe that is something that
Yeah.
we're going to explore in year 2, right? Of like, how do we grow this bigger while still protecting the culture and the vibe?
Yeah. So, I mean, any agents out there that are curious?
Yeah, you beat me to my question,
Conversation.
but I think that's a great vision for the future, because you don't really know what you want until you kind of get a little bit of a taste of it, and I
Yeah.
think you guys got a taste of the team building aspect in it. It's a great team.
We
I
just
love.
need to
I
remind
love
ourselves to
everybody.
be like thoughtful and intentional about it.
Yeah, not
Like,
too
and
big, not too fast.
Yeah.
The Goldilocks kind of
Yes.
zone we're looking for. So to finish it out, first off, I just want to say, I guess, thank you guys again for one, doing the pod, but also just like being y'all, because I think you mentioned, Felicia, or you mentioned, Hazel, like you want this to last longer than, but I think even just the way you guys like run your business and run Arlowe and run your lives, I think has impact that you don't even see. And like you inspire me, you guys inspire me to just be like, yo, like stay after, like stop playing some PlayStation. I think there's impact there too. Like there's impact in the agents now that you guys are teaching and growing, and they can see bigger for themselves too. Like so Arlowe forever, dude. Like for real, like.
I love that.
And so
Okay, get it tattooed.
I know. I was gonna say,
Where's the tattoo?
right up on my belly button, dude. But for real, like you guys are doing so great, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm just like proud of you guys.
Thank you so much for all your support.
Yes.
Seriously, you make us look so good. And
easy.
it's one of the things, I mean, having you do our content has been one of the things that our agents have spoken highly of.
it, like,
Are like,
highlights
whoa, nobody else is doing that, you know?
Yeah.
Like we get to provide something to them that's beneficial.
And even like the ones that like maybe are doing content, like the level you guys do it at, I kid you not, I probably come across somebody at least every single week saying like, I like the way your videos are shot, or like I like your guys' style. That's not us.
that is your
you.
style. Yeah.
No.
How it translates.
Let me say this for my piece of content. I think that is our style, but my style is like trying to figure out who you guys are as people, and like internalizing that and trying to, because I think that's the biggest thing about Quinn and I, and like what we've always wanted to push on our team members is like, we are platforms, like we're vessels for y'all's vision. And so I think getting to have build such a relationship with you over the years, and now with Felicia, and just like I get to like empathize with what you want this company to be and how you want to communicate it. And I think that's what does make us so special, because like I don't want you to look like agent, like another brokerage ever, even if I don't think we'll ever work with one. But like like I ever always want our clients to feel like them, and so you guys have allowed us to do that, so thank you guys for letting us in.
Well, we appreciate you and documenting our journey.
Yeah, and thanks for doing this pod, and thank you guys for listening. If you want to buy a house,